Ryan Reynolds has battled it all. Virtual giants, spaceships, and bad guys galore. But there's one thing that he will never have to battle, and that's colon cancer. Ryan Reynolds did what it took to kick colon cancer in the tail, and he's shown us all how to do it. Last year, Ryan Reynolds made a bet with his friend and business partner, Rob McElhenney.
But last year, Ryan and I made a bet.
Did we? I don't remember that.
After losing that bet, he agreed to publicly broadcast the experience he had with his colonoscopy in order to raise awareness for this simple procedure that saves so many lives. You see, colon cancer is the third leading cause of cancer in both men and women in the United States. There's around 150,000 cases of colorectal cancer each year, with over 50,000 deaths. In his video, Ryan totally nailed it when he said this.
Rob and I both, we turned 45 this year, and part of being this age is getting a colonoscopy. It's a simple step that could literally, and I mean literally, save your life.
I can't emphasize how right he is. A colonoscopy is the only way that you can truly prevent getting colon cancer. So the first thing I want to point out here is that he's 45 and he got his colonoscopy. This is actually a fairly new recommendation. For a long time, the recommendation has been to start doing colon cancer screening at age 50. But just this past year, the United States Preventative Service Task Force changed the recommendation to start screening at age 45. Now, the reason this is so important is that actually for several years, other associations, including the American Cancer Society, has been recommending this change. But the Preventative Task Force is what insurance companies go by when they decide whether they're going to pay for something. So now insurance companies have made 45 the new 50. Now, I love that Ryan has done this because it really shows how easy this is and what you might expect if you do it yourself. So let's take a look at what their experience was like.
I would never normally have any medical procedure put on camera and then shared.
Morning.
It's not every day that you can raise awareness about something that will most definitely save lives.
Going in.
That's enough motivation for me to let you in on a camera being shoved up my head.
The procedure itself doesn't take long. We talk, 30 minutes, something like that. It's stunningly effective.
Now, for those who don't know, a colonoscopy is a procedure where a doctor, and most often a gastroenterologist, takes a small camera that looks like this and inserts it into the rectum, then into the colon. Using air, they're able to inflate the colon enough so they can see and slowly guide the camera from the rectum through the sigmoid colon, all the way around till they get to the cecum. Once they get there, then they slowly remove it, looking at all the walls of the colon, looking for little growths that we call polyps. Now, these are the things we're looking for and what you want to get out. See, the problem with colon cancer is that it doesn't have symptoms until it's almost too late. It starts out as these polyps, and if you leave them alone, they can turn into cancer. The great thing about the colonoscopy is that the doctor is already there. And if they see a polyp, they can remove it right then and prevent that polyp from forming a cancer. So let's see how Ryan fared with his colonoscopy.
I'm gonna eat a graham cracker.
You did such a good prep that I was able to find an extremely subtle polyp that was on the right side of your colon. This was potentially life-saving for you. I'm not kidding. I'm not being overly dramatic. I mean, this is exactly why you do this, okay? You had no symptoms.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you so much for this. Seriously, thank you for pushing me to do this. Can't believe you pumped all that aviation gin into my IV. I was out like a light.
I love it. You see, that's why we do colonoscopies. They were able to find a polyp in Ryan that, if left alone, over time could have turned into a colon cancer, and he would have never known it. I've had a lot of patients who are worried and scared to do it, but did you notice? The best thing about a colonoscopy is that they sedate you. You have no idea what's going on, and you wake up 20 to 30 minutes later, and it's done. It really is that simple. Another thing I'd like to point out is what the doctor said about what they called his prep. Now, to be completely transparent, this is almost universally what my patients say is the worst part about getting a colonoscopy. You see, in order for the colonoscopy to be effective, you have to go through the prep. I'm super glad that Ryan didn't have the camera follow him around for this part of the procedure, because the prep involves drinking some liquid that completely cleans out your colon. You have to fast, and starting the evening before, drink a potent laxative that cleans out your colon completely. So you do get to know your toilet pretty well that night. But if you don't get your colon clean, the doctor can't see anything and your colonoscopy is worthless. So make sure when it's your turn to follow the instructions exactly so it can be a successful one for you. Now, I want you to pay attention to this doctor's explanation of what he did with Ryan's case because I think it's super interesting.
You are interrupting the natural history of a disease, of something, of a process that could have ended up, developing into cancer and causing all sorts of problems. Instead, you're not only diagnosing the polyp, you're taking it out. So nobody would know that they had this. But he reached the age of screening, 45. He got a routine screening, and there you go. And that's why people need to do this. They really need to do this. This saves lives, pure and simple.
It really is that simple. There is no reason that if you have the ability to get a colonoscopy that you should die from colon cancer. I think his friend Rob summed it up perfect.
I figure I can't go wrong in terms of comparing myself to Ryan. They either find nothing, and that means my colon was cleaner than his, or they find a polyp, all set, and it's either bigger than his, which is awesome, or it's smaller than his, which means I had less of an opportunity to have cancer. Either way, I win.
So getting a colonoscopy is a beautiful thing. If it's normal and you don't have a strong family history, you don't have to do it again for 10 more years, and you win. If they do find some polyps, depending on what they are, you may have to repeat it in 1, 3, or 5 years. But the fact that you found the polyp and removed it, you win. Those polyps are not going to turn into colon cancer. So kudos not only to Ryan for bringing awareness, but also for his friend Rob, because he let us tag along when he got his as well.
So first of all, I have no bad news, okay, only good news. And that is that today we found 3 polyps. They were small. They were not a big deal, but certainly a good thing that we found them early and removed them. Because you did such a great job with the clean out, it was spotless inside. You crushed it and you made the job really easy for us that way.
So is there anything that I can do from a preventative that I can lower?
Right now, I don't think in polyp formers that there is strong evidence that a certain kind of diet makes a difference. What does make a difference is screening and surveillance. So getting in on time is the key.
You made it so easy, so amazing. The staff has been incredible all the way through the process.
Really happy to have you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you in a couple of years too.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you.
It really is that easy, and it really is that effective. Nobody should die of colon cancer because we have the tools to prevent it. As a physician, I'm so grateful for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney for being a little vulnerable and letting us in this private time of their life, because I really believe that bringing more awareness to this important procedure will save lives. We just aren't as fortunate with other cancers as we are with colon cancer, though. I can't emphasize enough that colonoscopies prevent colorectal cancer. It's one of the greatest successes of modern medicine. We do have screening tests for other cancers, but sometimes it's not enough. So it's vital that you learn what signs or symptoms you need to be watching for so you can catch them early. To find out what these symptoms are, please keep watching here, because it very well may save your life.
Well, that didn't seem so bad.